Rec Room, a game I surprisingly hold dear in my heart. 15-year-old me never thought that playing this simple game would honestly alter my life in a way that I could never end up predicting. And of course, if you don't know what game I'm talking about, today I will be talking about Rec Room, the game that not only shaped my YouTube channel, but of course also a portion of my life. On June 1st, 2016, Rec Room was officially released to the public. Of course, its all-time peak was around 2021 to 2022, and I actually did play it at one point around that time frame before I actually came back to play it way more often around July of 2023. I originally used to just play Rec Room, just mess around with my friends, and we play a bunch of silly games like Ignited Bonnie, Paintball, and for some reason one of my old friends was really addicted to those really weird shitty Fania games, because he was kind of a gooner. But despite that though, I ended up actually enjoying the game more, and I, of course, started to meet more people, and I actually made some really good friends there. In fact, I'm actually still friends with two of those people to this day, despite that being over 3 years ago almost now. I've had many good memories from Rec Room, mostly about, trolling, all the stupid clips, all the fun I've had with my friends, and, just a bunch of dumb stuff. But of course, that would all change in August of 2024. I ended up meeting one of the worst people I've ever encountered in my whole life. Of course, that being Alistair/Luna. Now, obviously, of course, I made 3 videos about this person in the past. One of them, of course, being age restricted, unfortunately. But, originally, I thought that, the last video that I would ever make on this guy would be, of course, what I posted in February of 2025. To my dismay, of course, that was not going to be the case. A lot of the things that had happened, really, after I posted that video, I never really got to make a video about, and I never really was sure when it was going to end. But of course, it took about 2 months before I would say everything fully settled down. But again, I wasn't even sure myself. And since Rec Room is shutting down, I decided that I should make this more of like a finale or like a summary or something of that sort, really, where I'm just gonna, release some details, some other stuff that I never really got to talk about, as well as even interviews from people who I'm still friends with, and they care about Rec Room, and just personal opinions about, Alistair, the game shutting down, other things like that. So again, I really hope you enjoy this video. Make sure you stay tuned, and you'll see what happens at the end. Obviously, the last time I ever made a video on Alistair was on February 8th, 2025. To this day, it's probably the most amount of time and effort I've put into a video, as I genuinely spent 2 weeks with my friend editing and gathering information to, actually make it happen. Now, originally I was going to make this video in November of 2025, but I originally decided that it wasn't really worth it, and it was also just other personal issues. So I was like, you know what? I should just probably wait till I think that the time is right. And of course, by fate somehow, Rec Room decided to announce its shutdown, and I decided it would be a good idea to make a video about this. And of course, if you haven't watched a video series about Alistair or anything, I encourage you to do so if you're interested. And of course, there's a whole playlist about it and everything. I will have that in the video, so you can actually go check that out if you'd like to. But otherwise, if you don't really feel like doing that, I will summarize everything that happened up until the last video I made back in February of last year. And of course, I'm going to add on to that. So that's the entire goal of this video, mainly. On August 4th, 2024, I originally found out about Alistair and what he has done due to a user named Rainbows informing, everybody in the server that we were playing in at the time, what he did. And of course, if you don't know what he did, he had inappropriate relations with a 12-year-old while he was 17 at the time. Of course, then we didn't know his exact age because he continuously lied about it, and he would just say he was 15, he was 14, he was 16, and it's never added up. So of course, me, Rainbows, and a few other people decided to actually put a group together to get information on Alistair, as well to try to actually get him banned from the game so he couldn't do stuff like this anymore. Of course, the biggest piece of evidence that we had towards Alistair was actually a 55-minute video that the victim had clipped on their PlayStation 4 from 2022 that they uploaded later in 2023. Originally, Alistair claimed that the video was 5 years old, and he would constantly lie and change the story and the age of the victim and himself, obviously, to make him seem more innocent. But I ended up going through the footage, and I managed to find an exact date because the victim received an invite in game that quite literally had the date and time right there, just staring back at us. And of course, the invite said September 3rd, 2022, which made Alistair, 17 at the time because he was 19 when we were going after him. And Rainbows, who knew him, said that his birthday was in June, and he confirmed that himself when we actually spoke to him.
With those assholes spreading false crap. I'm only 19 years old, for crying out loud.
So after we debunked his age and, caught him lying with stronger evidence, we tried to get him banned from all the games that he played and off of Rec Room as a whole. But unfortunately, we only succeeded in getting him banned from most of the games he actually played and enjoyed going onto, because Rec Room didn't really do anything. They never really cared, and they made no real effort into getting rid of him, despite the amount of reports we made on him, as well as us literally joining the server to provide proper evidence to get him banned. So it was somewhat of a success, but it wasn't a full success because he's not off of the platform at all. By late October of 2024, the majority of the group had fallen out, mainly due to other internal conflicts, as well as a massive disagreement over a 13-year-old being allowed to interact with Alistair to claim that he was a decoy. Now, of course, again, me and a few members very strongly disagreed with this, and of course, that started to lead to the divide in the group as of how it was being ran. There was also, of course, the start of school, everybody getting more busy at the time, as well as Rainbows completely stepping away from it as a whole around this time. So by November of 2024, I decided to get me, of course, the big guy, Scory, and Context to all go ahead, put together some evidence, and make a very important video on Alistair to expose to the public. Of course, after that, we made a total of 3 separate videos spanning over the course of 4 months, and each one went deeper and more in depth on the situation. Of course, Alistair actually ended up seeing the video himself, which that's around the time we posted the second video back in December of 2024, and this led to his then boyfriend at the time joining my old Discord server to help us get more information about Alistair's whereabouts, and as well as his private family Discord server, and that's what led to us getting a majority of the information we put into the third and quote-unquote final video. By the time we posted the third video, Alistair completely went into hiding, and he even deleted his Discord server. He tried to change his Rec Room account info, all that stuff. So now everything I'm going to explain to you now is everything that had happened after we posted the third video, which was again February 8th of 2025. So this is February 8th of 2025 onwards to current day. So of course at the time, Context, Scory, his then former boyfriend, and I were all keeping tabs on him, and thanks to the help of his former boyfriend, we were actually able to get into his Discord server for a temporary period of time, as well as he would screen share stuff that happened in the server, and that's how we would end up finding out what they were doing, what they were planning. And during this time period, this was around mid-February to early March-ish, Alistair's former boyfriend also managed to get some information out of Alistair himself in private DMs and stuff. And of course, we ended up finding out some of the things that he did. And they're honestly arguably worse than, or just they're very concerning in general, because we ended up finding out that Alistair was at the time talking to a 10-year-old boy. And mind you, during that time period, Alistair was going to turn 20, and he was claiming that that 10-year-old boy was his son. So that was, again, just a very disturbing thing to know, that he was around 10-year-old children, despite literally being, almost double their age. And that was just extremely concerning. And another thing that we found out stemmed from the screenshot that I originally showed in the third video, speculating about another potential victim. And this person dated Alistair while they were around 14, and Alistair was 18 years old. He did this while he was, again, dating his former boyfriend as well, because they were together for about 3 years. So, he cheated on his partner for a literal child. And the way we found this out was due to another person who knew Alistair for a while had told me about this, and they gave me some screenshots to back it up, as well as Alistair himself literally confirming it. So since we weren't 100% sure about everything that was true, Scory had the brilliant idea to pretend that, his boyfriend's Discord and Rec Room account got hacked. And again, his boyfriend agreed to it. So we were able to get into his account and literally talk to him directly, but without him knowing. And of course, thanks to Scory and, his former boyfriend's help, we were able to actually get a proper confession about his relationship, and as well as, his admission for everything that happened with the 12-year-old victim. By mid-March though, Alistair and his former boyfriend broke up, and we weren't really able to get any more direct information about Alistair, and also his former boyfriend's account literally got hacked because he did some dumb shit and ended up losing his account. But by April, we had basically given up completely by trying on chasing him and like all that. We just left him be. We never really spoke to him. We never tried to look for him, as he was rarely on Rec Room anymore altogether. And the group had better things to do at that point because, again, we were older. We don't have time to go chasing a random ass guy who barely even gets on the game that we were trying to get him on in general. Now, there were times that we did come across Alistair in Rec Room, but he would usually just block us when we confronted him, and he would just go back into hiding again. And yeah, that was just really just what made us decide to just leave him alone altogether, because there was just no real purpose of chasing him. But then, of course, around November of 2025, I began to work on, I guess, was like a prototype, you could say, of what would be the true finale of the series. But I decided, again, due to personal issues and other like real motivation, other stuff like that, I decided I just did not want to do it, and I didn't want to give him more attention. But around, of course, March of 2026, this all changed, because I was scrolling through TikTok on my phone, and Scory sent me a video of someone running into Alistair again. We ended up finding out he changed his name once more to Dusk/Luna, which was just a really horrible rebrand, because literally everyone knows it's him anyways. His voice obviously gives it away, and he literally still kept Luna in his name. And of course, he was running away from the person recording the video because, of course, they're making fun of him for being an absolute cornball. They didn't seem to be aware of what he actually did, but when I did look through the comments, though, I saw that some did recognize him, and they knew it was Alistair. And that, like, motivated me to want to make this finale, or this summary of sorts. But I just didn't know how to go about it. Even more coincidentally, on March 30th of 2026, Rec Room announced that it would shut down on June 1st. And this made me realize that since Alistair was still out there, there was a very good chance he would try to move platforms and potentially harm more innocent children if he moved to another platform. Like, say, if he went to vrchat or Roblox. And that made me really think that I should get this video out, because I think that just people should be aware, just in case they ever see him again, or just in case he does decide to go lurk and do things to more children. Because I think that people like this just should not be allowed around children in general, or any of the sort. So that was another reason why I decided that I should just make this video and just get it out there instead of just continuously procrastinating on it. Since Rec Room, though, is shutting down, and I decided this to kind of be like a summary, more of like most of my Rec Room experiences and stuff, I decided to also allow the two people who have stuck with me since this has all started back in July of 2023 to have a say in what they feel towards Rec Room, Alistair himself, and really just give their opinions and everything. And I decided that I think it'd be really fitting, because this is kind of meant to be kind of like a farewell to Rec Room, but as well as to Alistair, because I just genuinely think that this is the right time to do it before the game goes. First off, who are you?
Scory, also known as Angel the Furry, the GOAT.
What are your feelings towards Rec Room being shut down?
I think it's good.
Why do you think it's good?
Because this is getting a lot of pedophiles off the internet. Well, their main way of getting to kids. Yeah.
Do you think that it was fully necessary for Rec Room to shut down? Do you think it was like a net positive and net negative, or?
Well, I think for the people at Rec Room, it's probably a good thing, because they're losing money and players. Yeah, I'd say for them it's probably a good thing, I guess.
Do you have any good or bad memories that you want to share about Rec Room?
My only good memories is finding y'all and my old friend group in 2022.
What are the bad memories, if you want to share them?
The bad memories is in 2021 logging into Furry Park to troll and meeting Alistair on a pole threatening to cut my head off in the blink of an eye.
You remember what happened with the Alistair incident, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it changed who you are now?
I'd say it matured me a bit, and some jokes aren't funny anymore to me.
Do you worry that Alistair will move on to a different platform or a game? And if so, name them.
I worry about him going to like Roblox, VRChat, Fortnite, like just any game in general where you could find kids.
Despite this whole incident originally starting almost 2 years ago now, how do you feel about everything that has occurred?
I still think, one, he's a really sick fuck. Two, okay, I'm ready to just, send that report guy. He needs to go. It's a sick fucker.
Of course, the first question I have to ask you is, who are you and what is your affiliation towards me?
Hello, I'm contact sensitive and I'm twin.
What are your feelings towards Rec Room being shut down?
Personally, I'm quite sad about it. Got some good memories on there, but honestly, I think it's deserved with how they went.
Do you think that it was necessary for the game to be shut down? Were there any particular reasons that you believe, or
Well, I think it was just down to crappy business decisions and just like crap updates that just killed the game off. Because the updates were just getting worse and worse, though. The quality was dropping, it wasn't what the community wanted, and Rec Room paid that price, by having the game shut down and not making profits. And beforehand as well, having to like cut off like half the developer team as well, and stuff like that, but I think it's deserved.
do you have any good memories or bad memories of Rec Room that you are willing to share? Or do you think that you're just, it was a good game overall?
I mean, I have some great memories, especially with y'all. There's me, you, and Timo back in the day, and then eventually Scory. But all that stuff from the art games and stuff, like the old furry hangouts and all that, like Furry Park Zero was especially fire. And that's how I met you. So of course that's gonna be a good memory.
You remember what happened with the Alistair incident, correct?
Yeah, he showed his green glow stick to a 12-year-old.
Do you think it changed who you are now?
The way I see things, cognitively, yes. Analytically, yes. I think being a part of the situation has kind of helped me grow and develop my morals as a person, to be able to spot what's wrong and to be able to act upon that.
Do you worry that Alistair will move on to a different platform or game? And if so, name them.
Yeah, stuff like with like Roblox and especially VRchat, because VRchat does have a predator problem and a pedophile problem. Roblox, I would say probably the same, but I feel like it would be a lot worse for him to be on Roblox because of like the younger demographic that's usually on there compared to that of VRchat.
Despite this whole incident originally starting almost 2 years ago now, how do you feel about everything that has occurred since then?
I feel quite disgusted at the fact that Rec Room could let something like that ever happen, and quite frankly, I think, I'm kind of upset how something like that had to rely on us to sort out, rather than actually like it being like the admins or like developers of Rec Room like banning him, because they never did that, even though we had a couple of reports on it and we even tried to like send them proof stuff. They just completely ignored it, which I think highlights a huge negligence within like the moderation team for that game, and I think hence like another reason why it was shut down. But I think it was still disgusting how, one, that happened, and two, it had to be us, we're just regular old players of Rec Room, to go ahead and expose the wrongdoings of a disgusting individual.
I can finally say that this is all coming to an end, though it feels somewhat bittersweet now that I think about it and now that I actually get to look back on everything that has happened. But at the same time, it had to happen and it was going to eventually happen one way or another. But I honestly feel some form of nostalgia somehow, just, looking at old clips of me and my friends hanging out, trolling Alistair even somewhat gives me some form of nostalgia. Is it really good? seeing stuff with my friends, yeah, sure, but not really trolling us or just all that stuff with him in general. Because to be 100% honest, it really did have an effect on me and how I am as a person now. Personally, I'd say some of it was positive. I think some of it might have been negative as well, but I would really say it's somehow crazy that this game that I never thought I'd actually play seriously, even for a little bit, actually managed to change my life. And that was only 3 years ago, which honestly seems crazy to say that. But, you know, again, all things do come to an end. It's just unfortunate the way that this had to go out. But here we are. I have a YouTube channel, I have friends, and honestly, this is probably the best possible outcome in my eyes, at least. I wouldn't really change it for anything else. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, share this with your friends if you want. And honestly, if you really feel nostalgic or you really just relate to this all, honestly, I get you. But other than that, I am just gonna really say honestly, no other words more than just see y'all later.